other than it offends me to think that I would be stuck with those 3 women.
My wedding day and my reception was not about me. It wasn't about Cody and me. It was about celebrating a marriage, and it was about the family.
Let's take a closer look at what the injunction actually states, shall we? In every family law case in Utah, the automatic injunction says, and I quote, "If the petition involves the division of property, personal property, or debts, the parties must not transfer, encumber, conceal, or dispose of your property or the other party's property unless you have the written consent of the other party or a court order, except in the usual course of business, or to provide for the necessities of life." Now, let's put a spotlight on that little word, if. It's a game changer. Christine's petition doesn't even address property division because, surprise, surprise, there are no joint assets left to split. Christine took the house, Cody got Coyote Pass, and they already divided their personal property when Christine packed her bags and headed to Utah. So, what's left to divide? Absolutely nothing. This clause of the injunction simply doesn't apply in this scenario. Cody hasn't violated anything, and jail time, that's not even on the table. Looks like he's miscalculated the situation once again, just saying. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Oh, your extravagant wedding wasn't about you, Robin? Hilarious. I guess that 11-day honeymoon wasn't about you and Cody either, right? If I recall correctly, you strutted down the aisle in not one, but 2 wedding dresses. Let's not forget the brown dress that perfectly matched the family photos. If this day wasn't about you, why not just stick with the brown dress to blend in with the family instead of taking center stage as the bride? And let's talk about Cody's big moment of picking the dress. What a show that was! It must have been such a thrill for the other wives to pretend they had a say in it all. Meanwhile, you had the most extravagant wedding of all the wives, complete with a solo dress shopping trip with Cody, something the others never got. You practically had 2 wedding dresses. Hello, brown dress? A heartfelt tribute from the other wives on your special day. And let's not forget that second round of wedding photos just for you and Cody. How is that not all about you? But I guess the real crime was that the rest of Cody's family dared to show up. Sweetheart, you weren't entering a monogamous marriage. You knew that. So of course, the big picture was about joining the family, not just you and Cody embarking on a soul-melding journey. It was never meant to be just your day. If you truly loved Cody for how he treated his first wives, why is it such a problem that they had a significant role in the wedding? Sister Wives star Christine. Seriously, can you control that tongue? What you think is affection is actually just plain inappropriate. Poor Isabel looks utterly disappointed and helpless, and it was truly comical how she made her feelings known by physically separating Christine and David. And yet, there's Christine, still sneaking in every chance to tongue wrestle with David. Honestly, she really needs to learn the difference between affection and inappropriate sexual energy. Some things should stay in the bedroom, like way out of the public eye, and especially away from her kids. It's clear that Christine only cares about Christine. End of story. Oh, and let's not even start on the comments about poor victim Christine, who's been in a cult and starved for attention, blah blah blah. She's an adult now, and it's high time she used her common sense. I mean, sure, I'm all for her enjoying the affection now, but good grief. Must we subject the viewers to all that? I fast forward right through Christine and David's scenes. The 2-year-old storyline is cringeworthy enough without the added bonus of their over-the-top, awkward tongue battles. I genuinely feel bad for Isabel. She's trying to be supportive but is clearly uncomfortable. It's just weird AF. Christine, your kids aren't trying to ruin your relationship. They're subtly trying to stop you from embarrassing yourself on camera. It's like she's doing it for the cameras, or worse, for Cody. That jackass clearly still lives rent-free in her head. It's a total train wreck at this point, with a bunch of bitter exes constantly trying to one-up each other. I'm honestly not sure I can last until the end of the season. There's a fine line between being funny in front of your kids and what Christine's doing. A little peck on the lips in the kitchen is one thing, and if the kids go, ew, you just laugh it off. I was definitely the eye roller when my parents did that. But shoving your tongue down your new guy's throat in front of your kids, that's just gross and incredibly immature. I get that she's been through a lot and is finally free to do things she's never been able to do before, and I respect that. But when your kids are clearly uncomfortable, it's time to tone it down. If she'd just dial back the obvious makeout sessions and stick to normal PDA, everyone would be thrilled, not grossed out. Sister Wives star Christine's whirlwind romance with David is clearly making her happy, but at what cost? It's almost like she's decided Truly's discomfort is just a minor inconvenience. Like, oh well, she'll get over it, right? I mean, who wouldn't be thrilled to watch their mom's PDA parade with a guy she's known for all of 6 weeks? At the wedding venues, Truly's discomfort is palpable. She's visibly trying to put distance between them, interrupting hand-holding, chucking her bag at David, snatching it back, and stomping off in frustration. And yet, Christine and David laugh it off as if it's all just adorable teenage antics. Oh, and when they decide they won't stop kissing in front of the kids, they're patting themselves on the back for that one too, apparently oblivious to the fact that Truly isn't exactly buying it. The fixation on Christine's happiness seems to have made Truly an afterthought. Remember when Christine casually mentioned moving back to Utah? Truly's valid concerns about yet another move were brushed aside. And don't forget, Truly found out about her parents' divorce by overhearing a conversation with Mike Kelty. Not exactly a masterclass in parenting communication. They moved to Utah, and now a year later, Christine has her daughter tagging along to view wedding venues with her new boyfriend. And then there's Isabel, looking completely helpless and just as uncomfortable. It's heartbreaking that the Brown kids, who've been shuffled around so much already, deserve so much better than the self-centered decisions of their parents. Watching them struggle through this seems like a wake-up call, yet somehow, Christine and David are missing it entirely. Honestly, I don't think the reality star Christine's going after Cody for the cash. She's after custody and child support, sure, but not because she needs his money. It's about gaining real decision-making rights. I've seen friends go through these kinds of drawn-out custody battles. And yes, the money matters, but the real sticking point? Having control over the big decisions for their kid. You know, the ones that actually impact their lives. Think about it. Can Truly go on that overseas school trip? Can Christine take her out of state without drama? Does she need therapy? I can absolutely see Cody swooping in to block a trip or mess with a medical decision, purely out of spite. So maybe the last stunt he pulled was her breaking point. If I were Christine, I'd lay it all out, demand full decision-making rights, or threaten to take him to the cleaners. It's not like she's worried about her paycheck. She's proven she can make money on her own. But she can't give Truly a second high school experience if he wrecks this one. So fine, he can have supervised visits every once in a blue moon. But no more holidays, and they're certainly not planning their lives around his unpredictable, last-minute, hey, I'm in town, visits anymore. Plus, Christine's probably noticed that the show won't go on forever, likely not even until Truly turns 18. The family usually supports the kids through college, but Truly? Well, she won't get that same benefit. So if Christine's going to secure any money for Truly's future, now's the time while Cody's still bringing in cash. That window is closing fast, and so is Truly's eligibility to benefit from it. And here's another layer. The Utah polygamy community's watching all of this very closely. Polygamist women rarely go for legal rights when they leave, but if Christine succeeds, it could empower a whole group of women to stand up for themselves and their kids. Ironically, Christine was one of polygamy's biggest cheerleaders before the show. Maybe, in her own way, she's still trying to help the community. But here's the kicker. Cody doesn't even have any official rights right now. No custody agreement exists, and he's not on Truly's birth certificate. So Christine actually already has all the decision-making power. Was anyone else rolling their eyes at Nathan sucking up to Sister Wives star Cody Brown? Watching him go thank Cody for giving his wife some furniture was just beyond irritating. Like, hello, that was Meri's furniture that she gave to her own sister. Why on earth should Cody get credit for anything here? It's classic. These guys act all high and mighty, and it's infuriating. Nathan's obsession with Cody is almost creepy at this point. It was bad enough seeing Mary's own sister and brother-in-law going to Cody, of all people, for help moving her stuff. I mean, was there literally no one else they could ask? They brought him right into Mary's space, acting like everything was just peachy with their awkward little Fantastic Four. The whole scene was straight up bizarre. And Cody, oblivious as ever, still wants to know why things with Mary seem so much smoother now. Hint for you, buddy, she's free of you, and you can't stand it. Honestly, the entire episode was a total bore fest. Nothing aired was remotely worth the outrage, except maybe at TLC for giving it airtime. A sofa giveaway and a venue search? Riveting stuff. Seriously, what does Sister Wives star Cody even want? For years, he's been shoving Mary out the door, practically telling her to take a hike, and now, in Season 18, Episode 7, he's suddenly sad about it all. Excuse me, but what exactly was his ideal scenario here? Did he want her to just hang around, waiting for him to magically come back? She tried that, and his response was, "Why are you still here?" Now he claims that when he said he would fake it, he didn't mean he wouldn't try to work things out. What? Isn't that exactly what he's been saying all along, that he wouldn't work it out with her? Did he hit his head and forget everything? And why, pray tell, does he suddenly want to call Mary to discuss where the marriage went wrong? Like, does it even matter at this point? He seems more interested in arguing with her and putting her in her place. He's just so unlikable. I honestly can't fathom how he managed to get 4 women to marry him in the first place. On a side note, can we talk about Christine gushing over David like a schoolgirl while picking out wedding venues before they're even engaged? I mean, it's sweet that they're happy, but the whole schoolgirl crush vibe? Yeah, that made me a bit uncomfortable. I had to skip over most of it. And then there's Mary, who's basically pulled the curtain back on Cody by seeking a divorce through the church. I'm guessing they gave him an earful about it. This whole thing feels like a show, like he's trying to convince everyone that he's not the villain he appears to be. Yet in the next breath, he's hurling insults at the rest of the family and his kids. His supply of adoration is running low, and he's desperate for people to start worshiping him like he's the king of the family again. Good luck with that, Cody. I don't see that happening anytime soon. As for Christine, it's hard not to feel a little sorry for her. She's emotionally stunted, just like many adults who grew up in a cult and ended up in a toxic marriage. So I'll give her a pass on some of her antics. Honestly, I couldn't care less about what the property records say or the new price tag on the Crybros chalet. There's something downright shady going on with the finances, and I'm just waiting for that house of cards to come crashing down. Let's talk about this current season, or was it late season 18? Fall 2022, whatever. Cody was whining about not having the money to pay off Coyote Pass. But fast forward to June 2023, and suddenly, he and Robin magically come up with over $300,000, though who really knows the exact amount, to settle that debt? And now they have $400,000 to throw down on the white trash trust house? I mean, seriously, where is this money coming from? Is the gun business raking in cash, or is TLC just writing them fat checks? Almost $1 million in liquid cash in just 2 years? Can someone please explain how that makes sense? Did Cody siphon all that cash from the Cody Brown Family LLC? Oh, the eternal drama of sister wives star Mary and Cody. I know I'm treading on thin ice with this opinion, but here goes. I genuinely think Mary would still take Cody back. Yes, you heard me right. After all those years of cruel treatment, the downright awful things he's hurled at her, and even with their spiritual separation, I can picture a world where Cody pulls off a miraculous transformation. Picture him having a grand, come-to-Jesus moment, full of heartfelt apologies, proclamations of love, and a desperate plea to rekindle their romance. Yeah, I think she'd fall for it. Of course, let's be real, that moment is never going to happen. Cody is bound to remain a malignant narcissist for all eternity. But watching their interactions in this episode, it's hard not to feel that Mary would wipe the slate clean just for a chance to relive the good old days. And let's talk about the final nail in Cody's coffin, shall we? Mary didn't just whisper sweet nothings. She went and got the official release that she knew would sting him right where it hurts. Publicly charging him with abandonment. Oh, that's just classic checkmate. She's officially done and dusted. Still, I can't ignore the fact that Cody was her first and only love. After 32 years orbiting around him, it's tough to shake off those old feelings. In situations like this, who wouldn't struggle with how to act? Is anyone else picking up on the obvious game TLC is playing here? Christine seems to be really leaning into her role for the cameras lately, doesn't she? It's almost like her storyline is taking over each episode. I'm convinced we're headed toward a new show featuring Christine and David with their two families. Can you imagine all the kids and grandkids getting in on the action? That's a full house right there. When TLC first brought the Browns on board, they were clearly after a big family dynamic, and now that's exactly what Christine and David represent. Honestly, I'm starting to think Janelle and Mary are being phased out. And let's be real, Cody and Robin will definitely be sidelined. This is shaping up to be all about Christine. Anyone else feeling the same way? Because I am all for anything that gets Cody and Robin off my screen. Plus, let's not forget that most of the Brown adult kids have expressed zero interest in being filmed, like really filmed, not just making cameo appearances in the background of party scenes. Many of them would rather not be on camera at all. So why should we assume that David's kids and grandkids will be any different?
That I would be stuck with those three women.
Oh, those three women? Don't worry your pretty little head, Sister Wives star Cody. Those three women have left you, and it's about time you noticed. I'd put money on the fact that Robin is absolutely miserable being with him 24/7. Seriously, how does he manage to get worse every time he opens his mouth? Just when I think he can't sink any lower, BM, he somehow manages to outdo himself. Never once has Baldilocks acknowledged that those women gave him 13 beautiful children, or that they sacrificed so much just so he could prance around like he's God's gift to the world. Samif, what a total waste of skin. Christine is really leaning into this whole teenage girl vibe lately. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she should have stayed with Cody or that she shouldn't date. But honestly, all those episodes featuring Christine and David feel like she's having a classic teenage breakup meltdown, trying to convince herself and everyone around her that she's just so happy. And now with the wedding stuff in the latest episode, it's like she's rushing into an engagement just for the party and the princess dress. I did the whole rebounding thing. I've been there. I got engaged at 18 after 3 years with a guy who cheated on me 2 months before our wedding. I started dating someone else pretty quickly and was married within a year. Now, a decade later, with 2 kids and a happy marriage, I can look back and see how immature and impulsive that was. I should have taken my time, so seeing someone at 50 acting the way I did at 19, that's just wild to me. Her own kids shouldn't be more mature than she is. Let's be real, Christine is emotionally stunted in a way. She grew up dreaming of being the third wife, surrounded by the only life she ever knew, plural marriage. She was conditioned to see anyone outside the AUB as unsafe. Naturally, she wanted to fit into that mold, and it's clear she aimed to be the third, and let's face it, last, wife. Despite being portrayed as the dramatic one, she actually dislikes conflict and drama. She wanted to slide into a family without causing a fuss, believing that being the third wife would be a healing experience. Now that she's stepping out of that world, it's like she's a teenager entering the dating scene for the first time. She's never lived a life outside of plural marriage and sister wives, constantly tiptoeing around everyone's feelings. So now, as she embraces her new freedom, she's really living life. And let's not forget, no matter how old you are, new love brings out those giddy, impulsive feelings if you're a romantic at heart. Christine has always been a love person. She just never had the space to explore that side of herself with Cody because of all the dynamics at play, constantly walking on eggshells and sharing her partner. It's becoming abundantly clear that this season has morphed into a more Mary, less Robin affair, yet here we are, watching Janelle and Christine bask in their well-deserved airtime, while Mary's been left to fade into the background. You'd think a woman running a real, filmable business, the kind that involves actual guests at a B&B and not just endless family drama, would merit a bit more attention, right? Let's be real. Mary has been bizarrely sidelined these last few seasons, probably thanks to Robin's expert-level manipulation to keep her isolated. Sure, the family dynamic has its quirks, but come on. Mary travels, she creates engaging content, and despite her differences with the other original wives, she's been the most level-headed when it comes to dividing up assets. That alone deserves a spotlight. Instead, we're force-fed staged shots of Cody and Robin pretending to clean up their act 3 weeks ago and watching the cringe fest that is Tony and Mykelti. Really? Mary has been making actual strides for the past 2 years, and yet here we are. Honestly, it feels like Mary's being punished for her past, specifically the whole catfishing fiasco. I mean, I love Mary. She's not perfect, who is? But when she's not drowning in misery and family drama, she's a blast. I'm genuinely looking forward to next week's episode, hoping for some much-needed Mary magic. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.